Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the beautiful Sands Hotel Casino here in Atlantic City, New Jersey for this evening's Thursday Night Fights. This evening's Thursday Night Fights is being presented by the ESPN Television Network and is being promoted by Top Rank Incorporated Bob Arum, President, and is approved and the man in charge of this scheduled 6-round heavyweight bout, referee Joe O'Neill. Introducing the principals in the red corner, wearing the gold trunks with the blue trim, tipping the scales at 246.5 pounds, making his professional boxing debut all the way from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Boxing fans, let's welcome James Smith. And his opponent in the blue corner, wearing the light blue trunks with the white trim and the red accessories, tipping the scales at an even 235 pounds, undefeated in 2 professional bouts with 2 big knockouts. From nearby Wildwood, New Jersey, ladies and gentlemen, here is James Broadaxe Broad.
Just a little while ago, we videotaped comments from both James Smith and James Broad, and let's listen to their pre-fight analysis.
I'm going to try to use good boxing skills and take my time and win the fight. I'm not really concerned about a knockout.
I think the first thing I have to do is look at my opponent, figure out what kind of oppressive style that he's going to try to oppress upon me. Then after deciphering his attacker plan, I will begin to use my attacker plan, and then the inevitable coming, stopping him before the scheduled 6 rounds are up. Once that's done, then I'll be victorious and move on to my next opponent.
Very articulate James Broad from Wildwood, New Jersey, 2-0 as a professional, both of them knockouts. He weighed in at 235 today. He's wearing the blue trunks. James Smith in the gold is making his professional debut. He is from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Scheduled for 6, Joe O'Neill is the referee, and if they go the distance, this fight will be scored on the round system. In the event of a draw, they will go to the supplemental 5-point system to break the logjam.
In a heavyweight match, you can't blink, and especially in this kind of match, because this is a heavyweight match. 235 for Broad, 246 pounds for Big Jimmy Smith.
Broad in the blue, Smith in the gold. Smith has got very broad shoulders. I understand both of these guys fought on the Army team, so they know about each other. As a matter of fact, they're probably trained against each other.
They've seen each other, but I think Smith knows more about Broad than Broad knows about Smith.
Smith there took a couple of body shots from James Broad.
You know, when I was fighting in the amateurs, they told me never be intimidated by a guy's looks or by a guy's physique. I don't care what they say. I'd be intimidated with this guy in front of me.
James Smith carries his hands in front of him, parallel. Doesn't have a forward hand. In other words, doesn't hold that left hand out.
Not the classic boxing style, but the thing is, I asked him before the fight, have you ever been down? He said, what, are you kidding? I've never been hurt, and I've been hit on the chin.
He's a big man. Weighed in today at 246. He is 6'5", and he is menacing with that shaved head. Halfway through round 1.
An amateur move. He kind of made a feint with the right hand, a herky-jerky motion up and down, but he should have followed through with it.
Good right to the body by James Smith in the gold trunks.
These are what we call the new breed of heavyweights. Joe Louis just stood a little bit over 6 feet tall. Rocky Marciano, 5'11". Joe Frazier, 5'11". These guys are 6'4.5" for Broad. But Smith is 6'4.5", and Broad is 6'4.5".
Broad just tattooed Smith with a combination. Smith came back with a left hook.
Big men in there.
Both of these heavyweights now trying to establish their power. Very little body movement from the both of them. Broad backstep to avoid those piston-like jabs from James Smith in the goal. Good right to the body as James Broad caught Smith doing a little bit of a dance, changing stance, and he caught Smith off balance.
A little bit more polish, it seems, on the part of James Broad, who had a 33-3 amateur record. Of those 33 victories, 29 came by knockout.
That takes care of a quiet opening round between these two heavyweights. Let's go to the corner now of James Smith and listen in.
You over the tension? Take a deep breath. Another one. Another deep breath. Okay, now listen, you're a little bit tight this first round, I understand. Okay, now let's try to relax. Let the punches flow. Okay? We're working now to the body. This is the second round. We'll work to the body. We'll work just in this area. Hard, quick punches. Hard, quick punches to the body, to the arms. That's it. Here. Okay? Now let's get a little bit more relaxed. Spit out there to your right.
James Smith in his professional debut. First 3 minutes, obviously he was tense and tight. As you heard his handler tell him, I want some more body work in the second round. That's James Smith in the gold trunks, James Broad in the blue, scheduled for 6.
Okay, that was his manager, Baron Walker, talked to him, his co-manager. And he said, just relax and let the punches flow. I've never seen a heavyweight punches flow. I've seen him rumble. And after the first round, both Sal and I gave it to James Broad on the 5-4 system. Unofficially, at the end of one round, 5-4 to James Broad.
Both of these heavyweights are fighting like lesser weights. They're just popping. They're headhunting and throwing singular punches. And I don't see any combinations. I don't see any body banging.
Well, especially, it's true in heavyweight fights. Guys come out, know that the other guy could possibly end it with one shot. Smith knows it's true of Broad. Broad knows it's true of Smith. So a lot of respect is being shown right now.
Joe O'Neill, the referee, forcing these fighters to punch themselves out of their brief clinches. Good right hand by James Broad. And Smith took a left hand as he moved forward.
Well, again, Smith told us he can take a punch, and we'll find out tonight if he can or not, because James Broad truly can punch.
Broad with a good left hand on the chin of Smith.
South of the border.
Yes, Broad got away with a low punch out of the view of Joe O'Neill, the referee. We're halfway through round 2. Good short right hand by Broad, and he came right back with it again. And Smith took 2 short right hands in that last exchange. Good left-right combination by Broad in the blue.
There you just saw a hard right hand bounce off the left cheek of Smith. I don't think he even blinked on the shot. I guess he's right. He can take a punch.
Now I see some blood smeared on the face of Broad. Smith has his back to me, and I can't tell which of the two is cut. It could be that Broad is cut. I'm trying to get a better view. Broad just took a left hook from Smith. Smith now banging the body like his handler told him to. And they're still in that neutral corner. Big left hook by Broad. Another left hook. And James Broad, who's got a cut around his left eye, delivers a big body shot.
So now they've traded low blows, and referee Joe O'Neill has not seen them, has not done anything about them.
Both Broad and Smith were south of the border this round with left hands. Good right cross by James Broad in the blue. So we come to the close of the second round. They've got to work on an eye cut in Broad's corner. Round 3 scheduled for 6 in Atlantic City. That's James Broad in the blue. He's got a problem. He has a cut on his right eyebrow. Meanwhile, James Smith has got a problem. His right eye is starting to swell, and he is taking big punches from Broad. Through 2 rounds, Randy Gordon and I figure that Broad has won both rounds 5-4 for a 2-point lead.
Finally, Joe O'Neill tells Broad to keep the punches up.
A cut developed over the right eye of James Broad toward the end of round 2. They worked on it in the corner. So far, it has not reopened. And they told Broad in his corner to jab the right eye of James Smith.
The cut is above the eye, but more towards the corner of the eye. So if it does bleed, it's going to drip down the side of the face and not into the eye.
Smith in the gold has spent the first minute of this round crowding Broad. And there you see Broad getting off. Every time he gets off first, he really scores cleanly. Broad is starting to muscle Smith in that ring. Smith in the gold is really slowed up here in round 3. And now let's see if James Broad can bully him. Left to the body by Broad, right to the head by Broad.
I believe that left hook straight low again, and again, Joe O'Neill did not see it.
Smith in the gold has not been able to take advantage of that cut over the right eye of James Broad. We're halfway through the 3rd round. Joe O'Neill splits him up.
You know, a lot of times fighters will purposely aim those shots right at the belt line because it's the muscles right below the navel area, in the lower stomach, that are not fully developed. And when a punch lands there, a guy could just go down from one single shot.
James Broad is blinking a lot. He's having difficulty seeing, although blood is not streaming in his eye. He may have had some ointment smeared into his eye.
That could be, and also in close a few times, Smith with the bald head has just leaned his head right on Broad's face, and I think their heads are clacking around.
Good left hand by James Broad moves Smith away. We're talking about a couple of guys who are really heavyweights. We're talking about James Broad is 235 and James Smith is 246.5. And Smith has been hanging on here in this round.
James Smith took this fight on last-minute notice, and it looks it because his mouth is open now. And what James Broad has to do, he knows his opponent is tired. He's got to make him work and use up any energy he's got left.
Final seconds, 3rd round as we come to the halfway point of the fight. We'll be back with these 2 heavyweights after this timeout. South of the border, down Mexico way. There you go, James Broad with a left hook below the belt line. He got away with it. It was out of the view of referee Joe O'Neill. Here we are back live, round 4, scheduled for 6. These 2 heavyweights have been banging pretty good since the opening round. As far as the last round was concerned, Randy and I gave it again to James Broad. We got him pitching a shutout through 3. Got ahead by 3 points, 15-12. Broad had his cut open on his right eyelid in the 2nd round. It did not reopen during the 3rd. The right eye of James Smith in the gold is swollen. Both fighters have really slowed up considerably.
You know, while you and I both have given the shutout we have for James Broad, the thing is, they're what I call competitive rounds.
And down goes James Smith because of a body shot. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good night, sweet Brits. James Broad has knocked out James Smith in round 4.
Sal, the crowd really doesn't like that because they didn't see him get hit with a good shot. But when a fighter gets exhausted, like James Smith was exhausted, and we pointed it out last round, the mouth was open, he was gasping for breath. It takes a short shot anywhere in the lower part of the body, under the ribs, on the side of the ribs, and that's all it takes. He's hurting.
Both ring physicians are over him now. Dr. Frank B. Doggett and Dr. Michael Sabia attending to James Smith, who really ran out of gas, took a left to the body, and rolled over and just could not get up. He is now. He's okay. James Smith in his professional debut gets decked early in the 4th round.
Great shot. You know, several hundred people here tonight in the building did not believe it, but now millions around the world are going to see right there a great shot, a left hook on the side, and believe me, you get hit on the side like that, you cannot breathe. You lose all your air. Good shot.
How many times in this telecast You hear the trainers in the corner say, work the body. How many times do you hear Randy Gordon and I talk about the value of body punching? And there's a vivid example of what it can do for a fighter. James Broad, the winner on a knockout in the 4th round because of a terrific body shot, which really was the punctuation point to the body work that he had done on James Smith in the previous 3 rounds.
You know, I heard a lot, you and I both heard a lot about Mr. Smith tonight, how tough he was, and he really was tough. But he took it on last-minute notice, and it showed.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time of this bout, 1 minute and 3 seconds of the 4th round, and a winner by a knockout and still undefeated, James Broadax Broad.
For James Broad of Wildwood, New Jersey, this heavyweight is 3-0 as a professional, all 3 by knockouts. James Smith is 0 for 1. And he goes back on the road to do more road work because he simply ran.
And gentlemen,
Now a